Hey, what's up guys, it's Miss. Welcome back to my channel. This is the highly requested updated brow tutorial for you guys. I said that I would get it to you, and here it is. If you have thin or sparse or just like non-existent eyebrows just with a little bit of hair, girl, this tutorial is for you, girl, okay? There is no shame in our game when it comes to these thin / sparse eyebrows. We're working with it. I got you though. So if you would like to learn my updated technique, then just keep on watching. So obviously this brow is done, this brow is not done, and when I look straight ahead, you can see the difference. It is massive, right? Well, yeah, it's pretty massive. All right, so I have not groomed my eyebrows for the sake of this video in about a week, and you can see how crazy and just like horrible they look right now. I mean, they don't look that bad because they're very sparse, but you know, we about to take care of that, girl. Okay, so the very first thing that I do is put some powder over top of my eyebrow because of the moisturizer that I use. It is very creamy and just very emollient. So doing this with some loose setting powder, whatever color you have works. You just want this area to be dry, and it also makes the product go on a whole lot better. And I'm using this tiny Real Technique sponge, and it is dry, so every time I do this I dip it into the powder dry. So you want to make sure that the sponge that you're using is dry. Now I'm going to take my spoolie and brush these excess hairs down. And I'm not sure if you can tell, girl, but I need to tweeze all this because this is just a hot mess. I'm going to take my handy dandy tweezers. I get mine from my local beauty supply store, but Tweezerman is a great brand for really sharp tweezers. So literally all I'm gonna do is tweeze my eyebrows. But I will say that there is kind of an art to this. In the past I used to like over tweeze, and that's why I brush the excess hairs down, because you don't want to over tweeze. You just want to take out what needs to be taken out. So I'm just gonna do this until I get it how I like it. Okay, so now that I've tweezed pretty much all of that excess that I wanted to get rid of, as you can see, I didn't get rid of a lot. I just got rid of the very hairs that were growing around this main area right here. So I'm gonna spoolie my, I keep wanting to say comb, it's actually brush, or it's actually spoolie. I'm just gonna brush my hair back down. Now I'm gonna take just a basic old razor that I got from my local beauty supply store. And what I like to do is kind of pull my brow up and get rid of just any hair that I missed with tweezing. And what this is going to do is just make that area super duper clean. It's almost like, you know, like doing this technique is almost like getting your brows threaded, but it's not, so don't clock me in the comments. But I'm being very careful because if you don't, you can take off some hair that you don't want taken off. So I'm just going right around that whole brow, just like that. This area is super clean now, and it already looks so much better, girl. All right, so now I'm just going to brush my hairs up, and then I'm not going to really do the same thing on the bottom as I did the top. I'm just going to clean up around here. So I like to leave the bottom kind of growing unless it grows past this area right here. And that's because I'm trying to grow my brows in general. So I really don't have any areas under here where it needs to be cleaned up at. I just kind of feel around with my tweezers, and if some hair comes out, then it just comes out. So that's basically it, you guys. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all, we are brows before foundation people over here, okay? I do not like doing my brows after I do my foundation, and I just don't understand how people do that. I don't, but God bless them and their ministry. Okay, so this is a step where This routine differs from my previous routine in the last video that I showed you guys. I'm gonna take my absolute favorite brow gel ever in life. This is the Anastasia of Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. As I've stated before in my previous my previous eyebrow routine, this stuff is like super glue for your eyebrows. So I am just going to sweep this into my brow. And this is just going to set the hairs in place before I fill the brow in. So I like to comb it straight up, then go straight over just like that. We're kind of leaving them up, kind of not. So as you can see, it just gave me a really nice shape right here. And I'm trying to grow my tail out. I didn't used to have a tail, so I'm kind of proud of how it looks right now, but we're not going to talk about it. So now that that's in place, I'm going to use my brow pencil, and for about, I don't know, maybe like a year or so, I have been using the Anastasia of Beverly Hills Brow Definer, and this one is in the shade Chocolate. You know, there's just something about this pencil that just makes me fall in love every time I use it, and I think it's because of this shape, you guys. It's kind of like it's arched. I don't know, it's thick, it has a very nice consistency, and I love this so much. I used to use their actual brow pencil, but I like this one a whole lot more. So again, Anastasia of Beverly Hills Brow Definer in the shade Chocolate. I'm gonna start at the very front of my brow, and I'm gonna start underneath it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is raise my brows like this, because it kind of gives me, or maybe it's just in my mind, but to me it gives me a more precise kind of stroke, if you will. So I'm starting at the very front bottom part of my eyebrow, and I'm gonna lift my brows, and I'm gonna just very lightly outline the bottom portion of the brow, and then I'm going to extend that tail a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is take that brow definer, and again I'm going to raise my eyebrow, and I'm just going to gently, very gently, you guys, I wish you can feel the pressure of this pencil. I'm barely touching my brows, so I'm just going to begin to fill in that gap. And this is why I love this pencil, because you can make a really precise line if you want to outline the brow, which is what I just did. But when you want to fill it in, you can take the flatter side of the pencil, and it's just like, it just fills in the brow perfectly. I love this pencil. So again, just very lightly. And also this brow pencil is double-sided, so if you need to take your spoolie and kind of just brush through it so there aren't any harsh lines, you can do that as well. All right, next step, I'm going to do the same thing on the top, except for this time I'm going to start right at that arch. So I'm taking it at the arch, and I'm literally just staying right inside of where my natural hairs are. Except for this time, because I don't really have a pronounced arch, I'm going to create one. But it's not going to be too dramatic, and I'm also going to just extend that tail. And then again, if you need to take your spoolie, brush it up, you can do that. So that's exactly how I fill in the brow. And as you can see, it's not dark, it's not too harsh. It literally is kind of just an outline and me filling in the gaps. So now with the concealer of your choice, I'm going to be using my Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. This is in the shade Maple. This is what I use to highlight my under eyes with. However, previously I used my Ruby Kisses 3D Contour Artist Cream palette, and yes, I bought a new one because the old one was just, it was too nasty, too old, and too gross, girl. So this is the one that I used to use, and I used to use this shade right here. I don't really use this one too much because I find that working with just slightly more of a liquidy consistency kind of gives me more control over how I want to sculpt out my brows. So I really love this one because it's not too runny. It's literally kind of like the perfect consistency. However, you need a good brush. So this one right here, this is, what is this? A Morphe M421 brush. It's just a flat concealer brush, but it's small enough to just get right up under there. So I switch between this one and this one right here. This is a Morphe M167 brush. So as you can see them side by side, this one is just a little bit wider and the one that I'm using is a bit thinner, but either one will work. I just like this one just because, I don't know, I just like it more. So let me show you guys how I do this. I'm gonna take the top off, and I kind of just get it a little dirty, not really dirty, but you know. Then I'm going to take my brush and just slightly dip it into the excess on the top of my concealer. You don't want to get too much on your brush. I'm not sure if you can see that tiny amount that I have on my brush, but it's really small because a little bit of this goes a long way. All right, so now we're gonna start sculpting. I'm gonna start underneath the arch. I'm gonna raise my brows again, and I'm just literally gonna sculpt out this brow. Now I'm gonna drag the excess to the front. All right, so now I'm gonna take my finger and wipe away that excess in the front, and I don't really like that harsh concealer line right there at the front of the brow, so I just take my finger and wipe that right away. And then I also do the same at the tail of the brow, but I don't really clean this part up until I do the top, which, by the way, I'm about to do the same exact thing. I'm gonna start here at the arch and then just sculpt it out. And it really is, you guys, just all about manipulating and kind of just, I mean, to me, this is kind of like an art. So it really is just all about sculpting and manipulating and taking from and adding to what you want your brow to look like, yet still making it natural, making it look natural, you know? All right, so that is looking pretty good. I'm going to add an extra step, or show you guys an extra step, just because this is exactly what I do in my everyday routine. I'm gonna take whatever foundation that I decide to use for the day, and I'm gonna pick some up on the same brush that I used to sculpt my brows with that lighter concealer. And I'm gonna go around the top of the brow, basically doing the same thing that I did with the concealer. And this is just going to get rid of, especially if you're using a lighter concealer. Actually, you know what? Listen, you can do this instead of using that concealer, but I personally don't recommend it because liquid foundations are just way too liquidy in consistency for you to get like the most sculpted look, if you will. So I'm literally just using my foundation shade to get rid of that kind of light halo look that you get with the lighter concealer, and this is just gonna make your brows look even better. All right, so that's basically it. The last and final step is I'm gonna take my clear brow gel once more, and I am going to run that through the hairs one more time just to blend in my natural hair with the pencil, the brow pencil, and to kind of get that like feathered, super pretty, like natural brow look, if you will. So I'm gonna do the same thing and then just brush it over just like that. And that is it, you guys. That is exactly how I do my brows every single time I do them. Actually, I lied. There's one more step that I do, but I have to complete the rest of my face to do so. So let me go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and my full face is complete. Now, I do have a little bit of transition. I have a little bit of translucent powder down the sides of my nose, and that's just for my nose contouring purposes. But now I'm gonna show you guys the very last step that I do to complete my eyebrows when I have on a full beat. So I'm just gonna take my eyebrow pencil that I used to fill in my brows, and at the very front of the brow, you guys, with the lightest pressure ever, and where the contour of my nose starts, kind of in the front of my brow, I'm just going to connect, I'm not sure if you can see, but I'm going to connect the start of my contour to the brow so it can, you know, blend in really well. So I'm gonna start there, just kind of flick it up. Just like that, and I'm going to take the spoolie and blend out any harsh lines that may be there. So again, I'm just starting at the very front, and you might not notice a difference, but to me it makes the biggest difference ever because it just makes everything flow. So now you can kind of see that my brows are connected to my nose contour, which makes for the most beautiful looking, just natural contoured nose ever. It is so pretty. This is like one of my favorite tricks ever. All right, you guys, so that is it for my updated brow routine. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was super easy to follow and super helpful. If you did like it, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not a part of the 100,000 plus subscriber family, girl, you need to join, okay? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and as well as turn your notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me, because I am back. I'm feeling a whole lot better. I'm gonna do a chit chat, get ready with me, just to update you guys on my life and where I've been, and you know, like why I've been just gone. So yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for helping me to reach 100,000 subscribers. You guys have no idea how excited I was once that number said 100K. Like I was just so happy and so proud of myself, and just really humbled and honored to I don't know, just be in this position that I'm in. I literally never thought that, I mean, I'd be this big, although it's not like a huge number compared to a lot of other YouTubers that you may see on here. It's a huge accomplishment for me, and I'm just really happy. Like I really hit my goal. So thank you so much. If you're interested in any of the products that I mentioned in today's video, or if you just missed it and want to go back and look at them, they will be listed down below in the description box. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much again, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.